All right, good morning, good morning. I know you're out there. I can see some of you. So thank you for being here this morning. My name is Randy White, and I'm the Executive Director of the Center for Community Transformation at Fresno Pacific University and Seminary. And that is an organization inside the seminary and university that exists to help Valley communities become places of abundance and peace. And that's what we're all about here today. We do that by equipping emerging leaders and community members to pursue the political, economic, spiritual, and physical well-being of our region and community. And we think that is a holy calling. We do this from a deep biblical base. And how do we do it? We do it by collaborating with people of goodwill and people of good faith on things that lead to transformation. We do it by building the capacities of other organizations to pursue community change. And we do it by embracing joint initiatives, things that can't be done alone by any one institution or by any one person. And that takes a collaborative spirit. We are anchored at FPU Biblical Seminary, and that's a pretty unique place these days to gain those leadership skills and study those community challenges. In fact, this last year, we planted a brand new master's program in community leadership and transformation at the seminary, utterly unique, which engages leaders not only in studying ideas or exploring ideas, but that actually activates ideas. And one of the things it's activating right now is this idea of social enterprise as a form of poverty alleviation that is a non-charity approach. And we think we've seen some tremendous innovation over the last 4 years. It happens to be the shortest and least expensive of degrees. It's the most accessible. We help leaders study kingdom entrepreneurship, neighborhood ministry, and ways to engage faith institutions in the city. So if you're interested in that degree, please see the FPU and seminary exhibit outside, or you can talk to Michael at the CCT table, and you'll learn more about it. So why social enterprise? Why social enterprise? Nobel Prize winner Muhammad Yunus has said, "Poverty is not created by poor people, but by the systems we have built, the institutions we have designed, and the concepts we have formulated." So in part, today we're asking, how did we move away from the idea of business having a positive social impact in our community and society to the place where it's just about money, just about the financial bottom line? Social enterprise recaptures the potential of entrepreneurship to generate the triple bottom line: financial sustainability, social impact, and environmental stewardship, the triple bottom line. It's a way to address specific problems generated by our region's poverty, but in a non-charity, dignity-giving, self-sustaining way. And so we believe that people of faith and institutions of faith and people of goodwill can have a really clear role in cultivating all sorts of creative models. And as evidence of that, for the last 4 years, we have started to see it happen here in the Valley. We'll tell you more about our Spark Tank Pitch Fest, which is now an annual event, a little bit later in the day, but through that process, we've helped to catalyze 31 social enterprises just in the last 4 years here in the Valley that are hiring people that have barriers to employment and addressing the issue of poverty alleviation. I want to thank Butler Church, Pastor Scott, and others for helping us present how important it is for churches to be engaged in issues like this, so we're grateful for this venue. Also, a big thanks to our sponsors for the day, Fresno Pacific Biblical Seminary, who care deeply about the challenges affecting life for the people of the Valley. We want to thank Family Leadership, Inc., which empowers parents to positively engage in their children's educational experience. And we want to thank Aplos Software, which is passionate about equipping nonprofits to do their jobs with optimum effectiveness. We're really grateful for all of our sponsors for this day. And now I want to introduce our MC for the day, Alex Hussein. Alex graduated from FPU as a double major in Christian Ministries and Business. He won the Harold Hack Award for leadership, and we have seen why as he has served in an internship with the Center for Community Transformation for this last year, and have seen his gifts in full operation. A lot of what we're doing today, in fact, at this conference, from the conference name to the focus, has been the result of the process that Alex helped us put in place. So we're excited for his work with us, but even more for the work that we know he's capable of in the community as he lives out this commitment to social enterprise. So Alex, join us. Would you please welcome Alex Hussein.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Like Randy said, my name is Alex Hussein. Recently graduated here from Fresno Pacific, and I've been serving as an intern here at the Center for Community Transformation for the last year. And during my time here, I've really developed an interest and a passion for social enterprise. So I hope you guys can get a glimpse of that today as well. Before we get started, we've got some necessary details of the day. If anyone is not registered yet, that is fine. Just go ahead and head out to the Center for Community Transformation table. We'll get your information, get you all set up. I wanted to give a big thank you to Lana Coffee for our morning coffee this morning. They were providing that, and throughout the day they'll be providing coffee for purchase as well. So if you need a little pick-me-up in the middle of the day, that'll be available for you. I just want to give us a walkthrough of the day. Right here we're starting the first session, and soon you'll get to hear from Brian Feil, our keynote speaker. After that we'll do a little Q&A session with him, and then we'll head into our first break. After that, we've got our two workshops. First one starting at 10:50, second one at 11:40. You got some information in your programs there. It can help you decide which one will serve your interests best. After that, we have a great opportunity with a networking lunch. So we've got some great food options for you guys with Tree of Life Cafe, a local social enterprise here in Fresno, and also some options from Pioneer Catering, our cafeteria services here from Fresno Pacific. This is really an opportunity at the networking lunch to network with business leaders and other community members and students all meeting together. A lot of the breakout speakers have decided to stay through the networking luncheon, so they'll have certain tables, you can meet with them and get connected in whatever area interests you most. Then we'll come back for the second session, you hear from Brian again. We'll do some Q&A with audience questions. And then we'll finish up around 1:50 with some final resources for you to get plugged in moving forward. But today I want to challenge you guys to use this as an opportunity to meet people and hear their stories and why they're interested in social enterprise, why they're interested in using entrepreneurship and business for the common good, why they're interested in change here in Fresno. We got a cool thing going on. If you guys can pull out your phones and open up your web browser, Safari or Chrome, whatever you use. The Q&A sessions that we're going to do through today are at slido.com, so you can see the link up there on the board. So you head to slido.com, it'll ask you to enter a code, and you'll enter in the code 559. Once you enter that code, the event should pop up, hashtag SoEnt17. And there you'll see a place where you can type your questions in, the questions that you have for Brian throughout the day that you'd like him to answer. And as questions start popping up, you can actually like certain questions, and the questions that have the most likes will appear at the top, and those will be the most likely for Brian to answer. So as questions come up during the day, whether it's during a workshop or while Brian's speaking, go ahead and throw them up there, and that'll have all of our questions for the whole day. And he'll be answering some questions at the end of this session, also at the end of the second session. And for posts that are happening today, if you're posting on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, we created the name for the event on purpose, hashtag SoEnt17. So we'll use this hashtag as kind of a way to create a page or a filter for all of the posts going on for the day. And in addition to that, I ask you to also use hashtag SoEnt, which is kind of a larger global movement happening. It stands for social enterprise or social entrepreneurship. And we've seen posts from China, Australia over the last couple months, and we're trying to develop this as a well-known hashtag being used. So if you're kind of thinking, why do we name our event SoEnt? or SoEnt 17. So with the hashtag, we're trying to join sort of this global movement that's already taking place and kind of put a brand on this movement that is now taking root here in Fresno over the last 4 years. So this movement in Fresno was kind of kick-started by former Mayor Ashley Swearingen, and she asked a question to the faith leaders here in the Fresno community and challenged them, asking, given Fresno's level of concentrated poverty, what is the role of faith institutions in the economic well-being of our neighbors? It was a really, really pointed question for the faith leaders here, and it led into a national search process, and out of that process came the discovery of a lot of social enterprise models that could be used to change communities around the world. So all this research was put into the Work of Our Hands book, which you can actually find over at the Center for Community Transformation table. This book is still available for sale, and it has a lot of those models, social enterprise and non-social enterprise solutions for non-charity approaches to poverty alleviation. So the last 4 years since that book has been written, we've kind of developed a process here at the Center for Community Transformation. We started with the Work of Our Hands Summit, which is what this summit used to be, and appropriately named after the book. And it moved into a business plan workshop that would enable people from nonprofits, churches, other community benefit organizations to develop their business plan based on the ideas presented in this book. And there's one happening again this year, May 25th, and Andrew Shin hopefully will be our speaker and presenter, so we're really excited to have him. And then from the business plan workshop taking place in May, it moved into what Randy mentioned, the Spark Tank, which usually takes place in September. This year it'll be September 8th. So this is where that person from the nonprofit, church, or other community benefit organization can pitch their idea in front of a panel of experts and actually receive seed money to help launch their idea. And like Randy mentioned, we've launched 31 social enterprises here in Fresno, and that consists of some social businesses, some micro-lending funds, and some employment training systems, and many other models that have really benefited our community. The goal has really been a non-charity approach to poverty, bringing sustainable and systemic change. A lot of charity efforts have been seen to not be sustainable, and that's where we believe social enterprise can come in and meet some of those needs. So like I said, the next Spark Tank is September 8th. If you're interested in any of this process, please head out to the Center for Community Transformation table to get more info. So here at hashtag SoEnt17, we're inviting students and the entire community into this movement here. So I'll briefly explain what social enterprise is before Brian comes up here. So normal businesses have one bottom line, and that is profitability. So at the end of the day, are you making money or losing money, and can you survive and pay your employees? But with social enterprise, the way it differentiates itself is actually builds in 3 bottom lines. So they're still very important, the profitability and sustainability. There's a quote that I have come to love, and it's actually credited to Sister Irene Krauss, and it says, "No margin, no mission." So if an organization is not making money or making enough money to continue, then the mission itself can't continue either. The second component is the social impact component, and this can address a number of needs, from homelessness to an undereducated workforce to human trafficking, fatherlessness, poverty, and so many issues that are prevalent in our communities around the world. And so this portion of the social enterprise is addressing those needs through the business solutions that the business provides. And a great quote that goes with that is by Father Greg Boyle. He said that nothing stops a bullet like a job. And it's very interesting that something like a business can have an impact in people's lives very differently than just a paycheck or just a job opportunity. It can really have a holistic impact on people's lives. And the third component is environmental stewardship. So this ranges in social enterprises from just being responsible with your resources to actually making the environment better and improving the environment. Gandhi was quoted by saying, "Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greeds." And so this is a fundamental component of social enterprise as well. And in some ways, social enterprise is kind of this new blend between nonprofit and for-profit. And in my opinion, it's kind of the best of both worlds. as you can see there in the middle, social enterprise kind of has the heart and the mission of a nonprofit, but really the sustainability and scalability of a for-profit business kind of at the same time. And so this is one of the things that makes a social enterprise stand out to me so much. So why do we do this? Why do we care about social enterprise? Why are we interested? And I think for people who are here in this room, and for people like myself, I think it's part of who we are. We are people who care. We recognize there are issues in our community and around the world, and we want to do something about that. There's just something in us that drives us to these types of solutions. For me, myself, my purpose and mission and drive comes from my faith as a Christian, and for anyone else, that there's a number of things that can bring us here to give us that purpose and give us that mission and that drive. And the cool thing is, at the end of the day, we can all just work together no matter why we're doing it or where we're coming from, but this is just an opportunity to change the world and change our communities. So now I'd like to introduce our main speaker of the day. He's a social enterprise guru here in Fresno. He currently serves as the CEO of Lana Coffee, and really his heart and expertise in social enterprise has made him the perfect choice for our first annual #SoEnt conference speaker. So please help me welcome Brian File.
Imagine every day getting up out of bed, excited not only to make a transaction that allows you to make the world better for your neighbor, but also puts a roof over your head. Is it possible, and could this be you today? I'm excited to join with you guys today and being a part of this movement of social enterprise. Alex did an amazing job of laying the groundwork for us, laying out the mission and the goal of what a social enterprise is and how we can be a part of that. So we'll have a couple different sessions today, as well as some amazing workshops that will get a little bit more in depth there. But I believe that we have an opportunity to make an impact through business. And in kind of explaining and laying out what a social enterprise is, we've got a short little video that will kind of set that stage for us.
Mervyn is a young entrepreneur who knows how to get things done. He inherited Marge, a cow that his grandpa always said was one very smart and special cow. Marge loves Mervyn very much and gives him lots of milk from which he makes delicious cheese. Everyone loves Mervyn's cheese and his business is going well. However, Mervyn is not happy. Over the years, he has noticed his country becoming more and more impoverished. Unemployment is high, and everybody's leaving in pursuit of a better future. Seeing Mervyn so sad, Marge decides it's time to help him and his country. She reveals to him the concept of social entrepreneurship. It's like any other entrepreneurship, where your product is placed on the market and profit is generated. However, the profit is not used exclusively to enlarge the wealth of the business's owner, but instead is reinvested in order to increase the quality of life and well-being of the entire community. Business success is also measured in terms of positive social and ecological impact. Suddenly, everything was clear to Mervyn, and he became a social entrepreneur. With his newly found business management knowledge, he is now able to successfully balance economic, social, and environmental goals. Social entrepreneurs identify social problems and use entrepreneurial skills to achieve positive changes such as environmental protection and conservation, job creation, meeting public, cultural, and health needs, the inclusion of the most vulnerable members of the community, and so on. With his example, Mervyn has shown us that changes are possible and that the power is in our hands. If you want to achieve something larger than plain profit, then find out more about social entrepreneurship and learn how you can positively affect your community while maintaining a steady income. And remember, by doing good for your community, you're doing good for yourself.
So how great of a video is that? I want to be like Mervyn. This was, I thought, a really neat and practical video that kind of lays the foundation for where we're headed today and shows us how revolutionary but also how simple this idea is. So some of the key points that really this video points out to us is that the model operates as a traditional business, right? Products are offered and sold with profits generated for that business and for those individuals. But however, money is reinvested into specific social needs, creating positive social change. And Mervyn, found different opportunities and different needs within his community, which will range for us as well. We'll get into some stories here in a little bit of neighborhood industries and Lana Coffee and some other amazing organizations here in Fresno, but there's certain needs that are being met. And social entrepreneurs use their skills to be the catalyst. They believe that we're created for work, and that the work that our hands do really make an impact. That kind of stems from a biblical perspective of the garden in Genesis, just knowing that work is good. Work is a good thing that allows us to contribute to our community and allows us to find that purpose, I think, that we all long for is to help our neighbor, to help make an impact within our community. This is one of my favorite quotes from the short clip, was that social enterprises are a fit for those who are wanting to achieve something larger than just plain profit. Profit's great, right? Profit is needed, and profit's something that can oftentimes be very elusive and something that we chase, but it's a necessary thing to where we're headed and what we're trying to do. But let me go back a little bit. So I want to kind of get into some of my story and the passion and kind of where social enterprises come in my life. And so I grew up in Bakersfield, California. Any Bako peeps representing in this room? There we go. One hand. Is that what we got? One? All right, let's talk later. So Bakersfield, grew up in the suburbs with not a necessarily clear idea of where I was headed in life. I saw my dad start a business, or take over a business from my grandpa. My grandpa started his appliance repair business in 1955, and my dad took that over after, it's kind of an awesome story, but my grandpa lost his eyesight. My dad was here at Fresno Pacific and dropped out of college. I don't condone that. Dropped out of college to take over my dad's business and really be able to be a solo entrepreneur in that sense. And so I saw a business modeled, and it just felt like a natural course of action. I never really questioned that degree, just kind of went forward. But really, I think the goal for me was to be a part of a business that just made gobs of money and was successful, I guess, in the very typical sense of that word. And when I was in my senior year, from guidance of guys like AP and my brother and a community of people around me, had the opportunity to step into an internship program called the Pink House. So the Pink House is a really amazing fourplex in downtown Fresno that exists to create and mobilize young individuals who want to learn about the city, the systems that have been set up, poverty. And in that Pink House, one of the modules was economic development. So how are jobs needed within our community? How have our lower income neighborhoods become the way they are? And why has that happened, and what can we do about it? And so the idea of the power of economics in the community, and the idea that the goal is for dollars to be continually reinvested into a community and turn into job development, workforce development, resume writing. And so through an entity and a church here in town called the Well Community Church, I had the privilege of being a part of these early conversations in the spring of the Pink House. And so the idea kind of came about of, and why don't we create a permanent presence in a neighborhood that doesn't just come in on the weekends or just after school, but can be a business that opens its doors 8 to 5 and gets to know its community and create opportunities for resume writing and job training. That was the original thought, right? And so a couple young guys, 22, 23, somewhere around that age, including myself and AP and a gentleman named Garth and a legend, Tim Getz, back here. We said, let's go for this. So we threw out some bags at church, brought back donations, started in a 2,000 square foot store, and in 18 months we grew into a 20,000 square foot store with the goal of just still learning how to be a successful business, how to create transactions, ultimately that are able to change lives. And so our focus maybe started on resume writing and being able to provide opportunities to place individuals into jobs, but really what we learned was that there's a whole plethora of issues that are facing south part of Fresno, and that the only way to understand those is to show up and open up that door. And so we launched Neighborhood Thrift. This is the 20,000 square foot building in 2009, and have continued to develop the idea that we need enterprises. We need enterprises that create jobs, create money, and create experiences to understand and help tackle issues that are facing those who are unemployed or underemployed. And so we started Neighborhood Thrift, and right now Neighborhood Thrift, has 45 or 50 individuals receiving job training, receiving paychecks, and assistance from the government in order to find that next step for them. And we realized also that, this is an amazing picture of a potluck that Neighborhood Thrift had, where everybody has something of value to bring to the table, right? There's assets within everybody, within our community, and neighborhood industry seeks to bring that out. But in the social enterprise sense, we also realized that there's an idea to create more enterprises. Neighborhood Thrift is great, and that serves one need, but what could we use as a tool to be able to keep extracting value in our community? And so Neighborhood Recycling was born a handful of years ago with the idea of taking textiles from other thrift stores or from other entities that no longer have need for it, bundle them up in these 1,000-pound cubes, and sell them to return to carpet padding, car insulation. And so in that sense, those three pieces of the pie are directly being affected by Neighborhood Thrift and Neighborhood Recycling. And so it's been a journey within Neighborhood Thrift, Neighborhood Recycling, and then 2.5 years ago or so, I got the opportunity to start running a business here in Fresno called Lana Coffee. And so Lana Coffee started around 2011 with the goal, and it was set up as a nonprofit with the goal of buying beans directly from farmers in Thailand, importing them here into the valley, roasting, packaging, and distributing to customers, to restaurants, to businesses, to churches, and creating revenue to ultimately create more sustainable lifestyles in Thailand. And so this opportunity arose and felt like a fit that I would like to continue to learn and experience what impact we can make through products and through product innovation and developing and creating a business that still has a socially minded cause, but it exists to be profitable, right? And so Lana Coffee, we kind of did some rebranding and continued to hone in our mission. And within the farmers and villagers that we source coffee through, water is the primary need that is often needing to get met. Our partner has built over 300 water wells or water systems, water structures in Thailand where it's gravity fed I think the longest trench that had to be hand trenched up in the hills was 8 miles with a pipe from that water source all the way to a water tank, create a water filtration system, and then able to hook up faucets in that village and toilets and water for agriculture, for animals, water to shower and to learn about different hygiene practices. And what's really amazing is the cost that a water system is able to be done is $10,000. And this creates upwards of 300,000 clean water gallons a year for 20 years. And we get to participate in that by roasting and selling coffee to our community. And so Lana Coffee has this goal of creating change and positive change for our global community with the goal of also creating jobs here locally. It's great to be able to offer paychecks and to be able to use our skills ultimately for each other. So here's another image of direct trade relationships of hand picking and sorting our coffee in the villages. So here in the Central Valley, it's a unique and exciting place for social enterprises. That's what gets me so excited to be here and to take this journey with you all. That there are challenges, right? Central Valley has its own challenges. There's food hardship. We have some very extremely high teen birth rates. We have issues with human trafficking through the Central Valley, payday lenders, and homelessness. There is a plethora of challenges that I believe Fresno has against it, right? But those challenges, I believe, create an enormous amount of opportunity for us. There's opportunities that I think we're ready to cultivate and to participate in what's happening. So just to highlight a couple different other social enterprises that I think are able to kind of give us a focus that neighborhood thrift and neighborhood recycling, neighborhood industries is one model, right? But there's also a lot of different options. Lana Coffee is another model with a different purpose. But really, I think to kind of step back and say, what's the purpose of business? Will ultimately kind of help us set the stage for why we're doing what we're doing. So I thought that this quote of what the purpose of business was extremely enlightening for what we're trying to do here at SoEnt. So the purpose of business is to provide the community with goods and services that will enable it to flourish and to provide opportunities for meaningful work that will allow employees to express their God-given creativity. So that is why we're here, and that is the good that we believe that business is a hope for the future. So we're going to be able to experience some food today from Tree of Life Cafe. And so Tree of Life is a social enterprise that creates amazing food, right? You can get a meatloaf to an apple pie. But really, what makes it unique in the side of it, not just sourcing locally fresh foods, but is the ability that it is a training ground for those who are coming out of the Fresno Rescue Mission. So maybe there are individuals who have run into some hard times in the last few years. Tree of Life is able to provide and be an enterprise that is a safe place for people to learn, a safe place to gain those job skills and to practice what they've learned through the Fresno Rescue Missions program. Cal Custom Tile. So this is another model that is really, I guess it would be not what it seems like necessarily on the outside, right? So Cal Custom Tile, this is Rick and Michelle Berry. They are a granite fabricator and tile installer. Is that correct? Yes. They have been around, Rick said, for over 35 years in business, creating value for homeowners and building just amazing works of art. But really, what you wouldn't know at seeing this business, it's a for-profit, it's a successful for-profit business. But their viewpoint on why they run this business varies. They see Cal Custom Tile as the opportunity to participate in what God's doing in people's lives. One story that Rick shared with me recently was that he has an individual who's worked with them for a handful of years, and they've talked theology and they've walked through the Bible and the passion that they have for that. And in the last couple of years, one of the tile setters has been able to launch a church in a specific area of Fresno. And Rick's participation is he has been able to allow that individual to now go down to 2 to 3 days of work a week and pays them as full time to be able to help him maintain an income while he's pastoring a church. And Rick's response to that was like, how could I not participate in that? It doesn't necessarily make great financial sense, right? You're paying someone for 3 days of work you're paying them for 5 days of work when they're only working 3. But the value in being able to use ultimately your resources and steward those abilities is just amazing. There could be a book written on the stories and the impact that has happened through a tile company here in Fresno. Whether it's allowing people to have loans for their next tile saw so they can earn $2 to $3 extra an hour, or being able to provide a down payment for a truck so that now they can create more revenue for themselves. It's just a really amazing model and something that I think goes overlooked because we don't see and hear all these stories. But a business is a tool to be able to impact lives, and Cal Custom is a living proof of that. And then we have Bitwise Industries. Bitwise Industries is another very unique model that exists one section of it exists to create opportunities and training in technology, coding, software development, and it seeks to reach the outer communities, the Carruthers, the Orange Cove, the rural areas of Fresno County, and provides opportunities for individuals to come in knowing nothing and walk out within a year learning how to code websites and be able to make a living wage that allows them to provide for their family. There's some amazing work happening and development happening through Bitwise Industries, but it's also a unique model that exists to create value here in Fresno, to create jobs. I think I've heard from in the tech world, one new software job creates jobs for 4 to 5 other people. So whether that's attorneys and facility maintenance, all type of office work. I think today we really have a fun experience, and I think we have an opportunity to be able to learn together, right? The Central Valley is ready for social enterprises and for innovation from individuals like us. I think it's safe to say you guys are all here because you want to make an impact. You want to be able to make a difference for those in our community and those within maybe areas that need work or want to make a step up in some realm of their life. I think just a couple rules of thought for us today is just, I think we need to encourage each other to think creatively. There's not a one-size-fits-all to social enterprise. There's not a, hey, you want to do it, here's the guidebook, go do it. I think as we learn together and as we can share in our experiences, we're really going to see the opportunities that exist. I think another great question is, what might be your next step today? Just kind of put these things in the back of your mind as we go through the day of, maybe it's you want to learn about a specific industry so that you can start putting together that business. Trying to help define your passion, needs, and opportunities. We'll go into some challenges on the second session this afternoon, but there's going to be challenges ahead. But I think if we can start with an opportunity and not have to think that we have to recreate the wheel every single day, I think that your eyes might be open to what we can do in the Valley. We've got some amazing presenters today that I am super stoked to be able to go and visit. I'm purposely not doing some of these workshops so I can engage and learn, because I'm excited to hear from guys like Tim Getz, who have created a software company off of a need that's been that he has seen throughout his experience in working for a church, and is able to create jobs and to create value for churches and nonprofits. We also have Anthony Armour, the legend of neighborhood industries, who's going to share about his experience of how do we create value from those who are in our urban communities that may not think they have anything to offer. It's been a journey, and I encourage you to make sure and check out AP's workshop. As well as we've got Jake Soberall going to tell the story of Bitwise and how it's gotten where it is and where it's headed. And man, there's just too many to list, but I encourage you to really engage within that workshop, ask questions, and let's learn together. So, yeah. There we go.
All right. Thank you, Brian, very much. We'll move into a little bit of a Q&A here now. Perfect. Yes. If you've got a question you haven't posted yet, go ahead and put it on the Slido site here. But I just checked. We've already got a few. Looks like we got some good ones. So let's get started. We can start here. What would you say is your purpose and your guiding vision that has caused you to use business for the good of others in the community?
Yeah, I think the purpose has been created from the idea of being able to see business as a tool to impact lives. So business models are different, but the idea of using t-shirts and using used sneakers to create value for shoppers, but also to create impact in people's lives, and now it's a coffee bean, right? So I didn't know it, I didn't have everything figured out about coffee. I loved coffee, but really the idea was like, man, this is a powerful fruit that we're able to utilize to create lives, change for people's lives. And I don't think it's anything short of changing the world. Being able to provide somebody a clean cup of water, I mean, it's what is, inspirational for me, and getting to go back to Thailand on an almost yearly basis and hear stories of why I do what I do here in Fresno is pretty exciting. And I honestly just love business. I love being able to add value to people's lives. When somebody buys a bag of coffee, they're telling me this product is worth my money, and that I think is nothing short of a small miracle to be able to be a part of that.
Thank you so much. One good question I think I saw here, it asks, please define non-charity. I think Randy and I both mentioned that, and I guess also maybe give some contrast to how social enterprise works. So please define non-charity.
Gotcha. Okay, so I guess I would say charity is, charity is meeting a need that is, I guess, in a lot of ways expected. I have no food, you have food, you give to me, and now I have experienced a method of charity, right? And there's times and needs for charity, definitely, all the time. There's also emergencies, right? A house burns down, we have to come in and provide clothing and meet a need of an emergency. So I think the idea of non-charity is the idea that we're able to provide opportunities for people to earn that. So neighborhood thrift is a perfect example. It's like individuals show up and they want to be able to provide backpacks for their kids for school. And the opportunity to come, work, to earn that paycheck allows that individual to provide and give those items to their kid because they've worked for it. And there's power in non-charity work. And there's needs for charity as well. But I think this idea of using social enterprise is to be able to develop non-charity aspects to create change. So I don't just give coffee away all the time. That would be awesome if I could, but we would be out of business real quick. And so to be able to create a product that has value is great.
So a question here, what are some of the differences between leading a company solo, kind of like you're doing now, Lana, and compared to how you were leading a company with one or two other leaders if you were at Neighborhood Thrift?
I definitely don't think I'm leading solo. So I would say that, I mean, like, without an amazing team around Lana, like, Lana would not be what it is. And so I think that there's always a team involved, whether it's Neighborhood Industries, Lana Coffee. There's a board of Lana Coffee that are wise dudes who I look up to and are mentors to me. And so I can take issues that I'm having and be like, man, I just need to either vent and share like challenges and frustrations that I'm having, or like, please give me a solution. Like I don't understand how to do this. And so I don't think, I mean, maybe more like a sole proprietor where it's like you're the only dude. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't think that I'm solo.
What kinds of things can community organizations do to contribute to the momentum of the social enterprise movement in our region?
What kinds of
things can community organizations or community benefit organizations do to contribute to this momentum of social enterprise here?
Man, I think a lot of it has to do with thinking outside the box, like assessing what the needs are of the community and what does it exist to do, and how can there create. I mean, ultimately, how can that community benefit organization create a transaction where the community benefit organization benefits, but so does the individual who's receiving assistance. And so, what I think it's kind of first, obviously, picking what that need is that wants to be met. So whether it's unemployment, so we have unemployment in our city. What solutions are there? So trying to think creatively about, wouldn't we just give away clothing? So the idea of what is the root cause of those issues, and how can we ultimately create transactions? And so Cornerstone Coffee Shop, for example, right? They are a community benefit organization. They're using their coffee shop in downtown Mural District to be able to provide job training for gals who are in their recovery home. And if I might add, they're using a socially responsible coffee, Lana Coffee, and it just creates this win-win cycle, right? Where it's like the coffee that they're serving is directly creating clean water for farmers in Thailand, while they're also creating job training and paychecks for those within their recovery home. And so that's a really innovative solution as a CBO to do non-charity work, but to contribute to this social enterprise movement.
Fantastic. How do you think social enterprises can motivate more for-profit organizations that maybe don't have that social impact component to them to get involved in their communities via these ideas behind social enterprise?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is an avenue where we can try to connect those those businesses who are needing to employ jobs, right? So Neighborhood Industries has, let's call it 4 to 5 guys right now who are ready for work. So how do we connect those individuals with businesses that see the value in participating with the social enterprise and want an employee that's dependable and an employee that has had issues that have been worked out and are proven? And so I think we have to think creatively, and I think trying to get the right people in the room is always the goal, right? Trying to find those businesses that need to be inspired to make an impact in community here. But at the same time, the businesses need to be provided with value too. So that employee needs to, ought to be super ready for work and be able to knock that person's socks off too.
Nice. So here's a question. I know we've talked about this before. What's the role of volunteers, if there is any role, in a profitable social enterprise?
Yeah. Oh man, I love volunteers. And I think that's a fun thing to kind of break that mold, that we don't have to think through that, like, well, if you're for profit, like, how do you utilize volunteers, right? And so we've got 4 to 5 individuals who are at Lana week in, week out, who want to be a part of what's happening in Thailand, but maybe don't have the ability to go there on a monthly or yearly basis. And so they get to contribute to the work that's happening in Thailand by simply helping us bag coffee. or helping us weigh 5-pound bags, or helping us clean our espresso machine, or a ton of different ideas, because the ability for people who have time, I mean, that's a huge asset, right? And that's a huge ability and opportunity to kind of pull into for-profit enterprises that are making a difference. And I strongly encourage it, and we are appreciative of all those opportunities that people catch the vision of what Lana's doing, and I mean, I don't know if there's many other for-profits that are accepting volunteers. I'm sure that there are. I'm just not apparently aware of that. So.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what are some of the different challenges you've encountered in working at Lana and at Neighborhood?
Can I save some of that for the second session?
Of course.
I mean, I just as a blanket, it's tough. I mean, as any business owner knows, or business manager knows, I mean, getting sales to come in is not, they don't just flow in automatically, and so we're out pounding doors and trying to share the vision of what Lana's doing, and when we don't compete on price, right? I can't offer $5 per pound coffee, so I'm selling the mission of the impact that people can make by brewing Lana coffee. And so, I mean, I think it's just, I think we need a support of each other. And so one thing that we're doing at Lana in a couple weeks is trying to gather just small food business entrepreneurs who are just struggling together, and guys like Ampersand, or even larger businesses like PDQ and barbecue sauce companies, and just trying to be there for one another, share contacts with each other, and be able to support each other, because it can feel sometimes pretty lonely. I think as the individual who is responsible for making sure that paychecks are signed and that there's money in the bank to meet that payroll, you take a certain pressure on yourself, and I think as a community we need to support each other, and.
Awesome, thanks. So there's a number of other excellent questions on here that I'm seeing. Some of them will be addressed in Brian's next session, as he kind of described, and we'll also have time for more Q&A after the second session as well. So I think I'll finish this one off with a question that I had beforehand. In your presentation, you described the purpose of business. So how did we kind of get to where we are now? But more importantly, I guess, how can we get back to that real purpose? Is maybe even just like a normative thing?
Oh, that's a big question, Alex. I think, how do we get back to that? I think it's just taking time to evaluate, why are we doing this? Having that desire to see business as a really impactful tool, whether you're selling life insurance, and whether you're working at running a supermarket, whether you're a cobbler who's fixing shoes. All businesses are providing value to people and have the ability to serve each other. I think that's at the core of what we do, right? No matter what business that is. Our most important thing that we have are customers, right? And so they're our bosses, and I think having that having that respect for customers, and the idea of why we're doing this on a day in and day out, and is something that we need to keep inspired about.
Awesome, thank you so much. All right, let's give a hand to Brian.